We are live, impromptu live stream on a Saturday afternoon. Never done one on Saturday before. So I'm interested to see if anybody joins us. Right now, I see a whopping, hey, we got someone that joined us. Kelly says, hey, y'all. Hey, thanks for joining me last minute on a Saturday. But somebody sent me something, and I'll get into it here in a little bit. Let's see how many people pop in. But somebody shared something with me, and it was one of those things where it's like, hey, James. Hey, Allison. Pell. What up, homie? Matt. Richard Wagner. Howdy. Jim Ashley. Todd Trowbridge. Oops, sorry. I didn't mean to screw up your anonymity there. Todd T, my buddy. Wow, it's Mr. Cheap Ottoman. Yeah. Oh, look at this. Michelle, I think we have two ladies in here at the same time, which is a new female record for attendance. I don't know. Anyway, I'm assuming Allison is a female as well. Look at all these people popping in. Happy Saturday from Minnesota. Ahoy. Greetings. What up? Hi. And pinky waving. Spur, Texas. Matt D. Anyway, look at Tony Jenkins. Anyway, I get a lot of emails sometimes from people who say, "Hey, this is on sale," and I appreciate that. I'm humbled by how many people shoot me over an email, and man, this is crazy. Usually, I have these scheduled in advance. I didn't think so many people would be joining us today. Ed G, hit the like and subscribe. Hit the like and subscribe. Hit the like and subscribe. I came for the free drinks. Got some Dr. Pepper Zero right now. We are not at all sponsored by Dr. Pepper Zero, although I wish we were. Best headphones for heavy metal. Whew. Got the tough questions coming in quickly. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but so I'll say two things. There are certain products that don't excite me. They come in and they sit around for a long time. And I always end up getting to everything. And the DAC that I just did, the Ever Solo DAC Z8 was one of those products that just sat here for a long time. And I never got around to listening to it. And then when I did, I was like, whoa, this is awesome. Anyway, I had another product come in that is not a new product. It's been out for a long time, a long time. And I'm just sitting here. I had some time. So I threw it on today. And I'm just like, holy cow. I don't want to ruin it though. So it's for tomorrow. So, but anyway, I don't know why I said that, but anyway, so there's going to be a video tomorrow that I think y'all should check out. And anyway, headphone, heavy metal headphone. So I like the Edition XS, but I really like that for everything. The headphone that I was listening to today, I think is a great headphone, but you'll need to tune in tomorrow to find out which one I'm talking about. It's not going to be just a video about headphones. Actually, it's going to be something completely different in any regard. That one's a good one. I can't tell you what it is. Sundara is great. I wish the Sundara had a bit more bass. That's why I like the Edition XS. I think more affordable headphones. I think the ones doing tomorrow are great. Anyway, there's some good ones. Tune in tomorrow. All these mysteries will be revealed. This guy puts out some really good videos. Jeremy, thank you. I assume you're talking about me, but there's a lot of other people that put out great videos too. Billy, my boy, just got back from a great rugby match. Good to see you. Great to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing very well. Headphones you can bolt to your head. Been subscribing for about 6 months. Really enjoy your videos. Thank you, Mark Walker. Thank you very much. Are the Skit tiers endgame in your opinion? I think they're good. I do like them very much. I like them very much. I could live with them forever, for sure. But I get to listen to a lot of stuff, and there's nothing that jumps off like right away that tells me that, hey, these are the best amps ever. But they are definitely not a mediocre amp at all. They're very, very good. To make a long story shorter, I hope you're having a great weekend too. All right, been subscribing. All right, let's talk about the what brings us here together today. And it was one of those things that I have been following this product line for a while, and it just continues to get cheaper and cheaper, and hopefully it's the same product. I would imagine that they're not like making something different. All right, let me open up a new window here. And I mean, it's not really a surprise if you looked at the description at all, but it was such a good deal. I'm like, I did a community post about it, but it's such a good deal. I'm like, I have got to screen this from the rooftops because this is an absolute crazy deal. And if I'm not doing my job if I'm not promoting it, because I do have personal experience with this whole line. So all right, present, share screen, window, entire screen, boom, share. All right, here we go. It's the Jamo, the S series. Oh, we got a super chat. Thank you. So this is in the description. I'll share the link right here too, just in case anybody's interested. But my de facto recommendation for an affordable speaker has been the Sony SSCS5s, and then the ELAC BS41s now are kind of in that. This has always been kind of a I wouldn't call this a step down, but I think the BS41s and the Sonys are closer to what some people would consider to be an audiophile speaker. This is a fun speaker, an absolutely speaker that's a blast. It's really affordable. It's a little bit punchy on the bottom, sparkly on top. Not necessarily the most like the last word in resolution as far as detail separation, but here's the thing: it's $147. Just the 803s, which is the 5.25-inch two-way bookshelves, those used to be around $200 just for them. The 801s, which is the little ones, which are perfect for a desktop. Actually, the 803s are perfect for a desktop too. It used to be $100. And then the center, I don't know how much that was when it was sold individually, but for a price that's lower than what generally a pair of Sonys or the ELACs are, to get 5 speakers is it's probably the best deal I have seen on speakers. This right here. And some people may not need 5 speakers, but I am telling you that this is just a spectacular deal if you're in the home theater, or if you just want 2-channel and then maybe you want a secondary system somewhere. So nuts. It's just nuts. Nuts. I was just looking at that sale this morning on Amazon. Such a good deal. Yes, it is. Crazy deal. Hey, from Germany, Randy. What up, Wally S? I have Jamo 622s in the attic. There is a reason. Oh, I don't know that 622 one. Looks like a great bargain there. Yeah, listen, I'm not saying that I like the Concert Series 2. The C93-2 is one of my favorites. I think they're better than the 803s. But what I'm saying is, if you're getting into the hobby, if you're trying to build out a very inexpensive home theater, or if you're trying to, build a secondary system somewhere, this really can't be beat at $147. I mean, it's got 278 5-star ratings. So not the greatest speaker on the planet, but I don't think anybody can argue the value on this. Jamo and Klipsch are owned by the same parent company. That is true. Jamo is part of the Klipsch group, which is also owned or is part of the Vox umbrella, and Vox is a publicly traded company. Also now owns Onkyo and Pioneer, all part of the same thing. Very similar to Sound United, which owns B&W, Denon, Marantz, Polk, amongst others. Hey, Scott Baylor. Glad to see you. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you. Anyway, that is the crazy deal that I wanted to tell everybody about. Worth it to buy to replace a pair of old Tenoi bookshelf speakers? Again, this is an entry-level fun speaker. I just ordered another set though. So what I'm going to be doing is I might tear into these a little bit and brace up the cabinets a little bit better and take a look at their crossover, maybe replace some components. But this is a system or set that, I may put up in one of the kids' rooms or something like that. I don't know, just something to have laying around, because my Sonys have continued, the SSCS5s have continued to get more and more expensive. And while I don't think this speaker is better than the Sonys, I think it's a great alternative. And for people that are getting into this and just want something fun, I think this is a great option. Thanks for your recommendation on the Schkit Modi and the WiiM Mini. Great combo. Keep up the awesome work. Yes, that's another thing. So there's 3 products I wanted to talk about today. The WiiM Mini is one of them, and it's running a bit of a sale as well. I think it's going for hold on. It's going for $78 today. There we go. Let me share my screen. Boop. So yeah, it's going for $78 too. Let me pop this into the chat as well. Go away. There we go. So this is not a huge sale. I mean, usually you can find this for $80, but I've seen it go all the way up to $100 too. So you get this, you get the Jamos, and then you get my one of my stalwart favorites, the Aiyima A07, which is also on sale. $15 off coupon. So that's coming in at $65 for less than $300, you get a whole system that's not Bluetooth. So you got AirPlay, you have a streaming platform, you have a remote control because you can use the app to control volume, and you also have a 10-band EQ. And then, oh, by the way, you have 3 extra speakers that you can do other stuff with later. Just a killer setup for less than $300. Yeah. Got a brand new pair of Sony SSCS5s off Marketplace for $100. Figured that would match the lowest inflation adjusted sale price we will ever see again. I think they're still going to go back down to maybe $90, probably Black Friday, maybe one of the Prime days. I've seen it happen 2 times a year now, that they'll go all the way down to like $190 or so. So yeah, crying shame here in Europe. They're still at full price, $165, $300, $400. It is. I never get pricing. I mean, it's probably because, it's whatever distributor or retailer is running that deal. So what do you think of the PA3? Are you talking about the topping amp? I think it's spectacular. I think it sounds spectacular when it works. I think there's been some reliability issues with that. Even the one that I had some loose TRS connections. Not a huge fan of the TRS connection choice on that amp, but I can't argue with how it sounds. Um, really, really good. Receiver to get started on surround sound. Jeremy, the thing about receivers are that the ones that sound good for music are usually pretty expensive. So if you're just wanting to get started with surround sound, I would look on the used market and try to find one that has an e-arc, or at at the least get one that has an optical, and you can optical out of your TV. Some opticals don't support true multi-channel, but the newer TVs that I've seen export multi-channel over optical. So yeah, I mean, unless you have a budget of like $500 to $600, I would look on the used market and find something that's maybe a couple years old, and then I would do it that way. So yeah. Sage wisdom there, Randy. Well, the thing about amps is 2-channel amps is you can get some killer 2-channel amps. Really, that's $65 for this one. But with home theater AVRs, the technology changes so quickly. And for whatever reason, companies generally put out a newer, updated version of a receiver almost annually. They did before COVID, it was almost annually. Now I think it's about every other year. So there is a lot of products out there that are less than 5 years old that are still going to be good, even with Dolby Atmos. I mean, there's receivers on the used market with Dolby Atmos that probably can be purchased for maybe around $300. And one of the things I like to do is look at the back of whatever used receiver you're looking at, and if it has banana plug receivers on the back, it means that in its day it was a little bit of a better receiver. If it's just like the push pin, I would avoid those. I would go for ones that have banana plug receivers on the back. And I know that's not the best litmus test of whether or not something is good, but if that was the case when it was sold new, that was a bit of a higher end receiver. And you can always just kind of research it online, find out exactly when it was made. Are you going to review the Fozzy BT28 Pro new model? Where is it? The answer to that question is yes. I literally have it. I had it plugged in just the other day. Where is it? Where did I put it? I move stuff around so much. I legit just had that running. No, that's not it. Where is it? I just changed some stuff around. Maybe this is it. Yeah. All right. I almost don't want to unplug it because then I forget which power supply is which, but I'll hang it there on the side. Yeah, it's right here. I've had this for a while. I don't want to spoil it, but it's pretty good. Pretty awesome. So yeah. Yes, short answer, yes, it's right there. I've actually got 2 of them. I might be giving one away. Receiver technology doesn't change much year to year. Yeah, you're right. And I think the thing that does change, though, is I think finally people are getting pretty serious about the amplifier sections of their receivers, and making them sound better. Because a lot of receivers, the majority of receivers that I've listened to, just don't sound good out of the box for music. They sound thin. Yes, you can have a ton of DSP to play around with and stuff, but some of the receivers that I've been getting in recently have gotten better and better with their amplifier sections. Aiyima T9 Pro or the Aiyima DO3, which would you take? Oh, that's a good question. I do have the T9 Pro here. I haven't listened to it yet. I think they both may use a similar, if not the same, chipset. I can't say which one. I mean, if I'm going just off of convenience, size factor, things like that, I'd probably go to the T9 Pro, although the D03 I think has a much better remote control. Yeah. Kind of springboarding off that last question. Best single unit DAC plus amplifier with optical input. That depends on your budget, of course. But the T9, I would anticipate the T9 Pro, pretty good. A lot of some of these Duke products, the ST01 Pro from Duke Audio is really spectacular. And you can put a little bit of heavier duty power supply on that. I think up to a 30-volt power supply on that. So that would probably be what I would lean towards, is the Duke Audio ST01 Pro. Thanks for all you do for the community. Your honesty and humor are appreciated. Well, thank you, Mark TV Bound. It makes me happy. Makes me very happy. Gets me in the feels. What are your recommendation for speakers under 200? For sure, that's kind of what we're talking about today. I like the Jamo. Here. So the ones that's on sale right now. Come on, Randall. Jamo. Free. You can get them a couple of different colors too. So I like these. $147 is absolutely killer. You cannot beat that. Now, these are one of my all-time favorite speakers, but their prices continue to creep up and up and up and up. And at $200, I wouldn't buy these. I would wait till they come down to 120, because the prices on these are usually, well, it used to be 150 was their top end price. So it'd go 150, so 150, like 105, and then they would go all the way down to like $80. Now it seems like they're 90, 120, and then all the way up to 200. And then I also like the ELAC BES 41s. Now that is not going to be a speaker for everybody, because it is a bit rolled off on top. But if you don't mind, and these sometimes will go all the way down to about $80. If you like a warmer sound signature, or you have some really kind of thin electronics, these are great. They pair really well with them, and they just have a ton of punch. Again, though, they're not this is not a $500 speaker that has insane instrument separation and stuff. You can do a bit of a crossover upgrade on these and clean these up a lot more on the bottom, but these are really good. Take a little bit more power though, so these are pretty inefficient. How far are you from PAL? I don't know exactly where PAL is. Thoughts on the Kanto why up force? I haven't heard them. About these Sony speakers and return them when the next day they sounded terrible. Yeah, I guess they're not for everybody, but I mean, and overall like feedback is not always the best indicator of things, but I mean, there's 8,469 ratings. So I think a lot of people like these. Only a 2% 1-star rating. Only 2%. So usually, like 1-star, the percentage is like around 5 to 7%, even on a really well-liked product. So I think this is a testament to just how much, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying this is a testament to how good this speaker is and how most people feel about this speaker. I don't think I've ever seen a product with this many ratings have as low of a percentage of 1-star ratings than anything else I've ever looked at. Almost always the 1-star rating is 5%, 5 to like 8%. So yeah, again, not saying you're wrong. We all have different tastes in things, but I think most of the people out there really like them. The RB42s are insane for 150. I agree. That's a very good neutral speaker, but it takes an absolute ton of power to get the best out of them. Just a ton of power for that little thing. And that's a really good speaker. There's zero cabinet resonance. It's a very neutral speaker. But to get the best out of them, you got to put a bunch of power on them. And most affordable amps just can't push those speakers. Maybe with the exception of the A07 with like a 36 volt power supply, the TB10D from Fozzy Audio with a 32 volt. If you can get a 36 volt power supply though, that's the problem with those speakers is they are awesome, but you lose the value when you have to pay more for the power on it. But yeah, I agree with you. They're a good speaker. Not particularly my taste because I like stuff to be a little bit, I don't know. I don't like a neutral sound signature per se, but that it's a great speaker. Allison Pell, Randy, looking for a headphone amp with balanced and single ended. Worth looking for true balanced, budget around $300 or so. I don't necessarily think that there is a necessity for balanced. And a lot of these with balanced options are not true balanced. But here's the thing. Headphone amps have gotten so crazy with their THD. It's been so low. And it's really been so low for over a year, if not, 18 months, especially with like the advent of THX amplification. And then people didn't want to license THX. So they started making their own stuff from Topping, stuff from SMSL, Geshelli Labs, Schkitz. I think since THDs are so low, I think we don't need balanced, or some of the reasoning behind buying a balanced amplifier is not really valid anymore simply because the measurements on these products are so good and so low to begin with. So personally, I think a lot of balanced connections now are just there for convenience. Maybe if you have a balanced headphone, like 4.4, I would say Pentagon, but it's not Pentacon, 4.4 or an XLR, whatever it is. I think it's mostly there for convenience at this sake. I don't necessarily think that anybody gains any huge benefits sonically, because the runs on headphone amplifiers, even if you're going from external DAC, you can get a 12-inch RCA interconnect, sometimes even less than a foot. So the chances of having a lot of interference there that balanced would compensate for is pretty slim. So I do use balanced just simply because I like the balanced connectors. They're easier to get in and out, and I think they're a little bit more robust. But from a performance standpoint, I don't necessarily think that like balance is necessary. So depends on the amp, but there's a lot of awesome headphones amps out there. But I mean, Geshelli Labs makes the I think it's the E2. I really like that thing. I was just listening before I came in here there's an X Duo TA26S, which is a tube amp. It has a balance connector, but I mean, it's a tube, so it's not true balanced. And then I was listening to the, I can't remember the name. It's just the Geshelli Labs single-ended. So it's a long way to go to say that I don't really think balance is necessary. I love balance though because of the interconnects, but I'm not doing it for like a performance increase. Smash the like button. Oh my goodness, that was a long way to go to answer that question. Yes, better than 3.5 inch or even 6.35. Generally speaking, would you go for a new Class D amp versus a mild quality vintage like a smaller Pioneer SX or Baby Marantz? Oh, well, I mean, this is just opinion. I'm not saying this is better or worse. I'd probably go with a vintage. The thing about vintage though is like you never know what you're going to get. I got a buddy that buys pretty much only vintage. Well, he does buy only vintage amplifiers. And it's just an accepted truth that something's going to go wrong at some point. That could also be the case with new equipment, but with new equipment, you have a warranty if they're going to honor it. But the sound, the take on sound in the 70s and stuff was just, it's very, very good. If it was just me purely for my own enjoyment, probably get a vintage. But as soon as you get a vintage and that's the only thing you have and it starts to have issues, which it will, like it really bothers me. So I love vintage, but I don't normally listen to a lot of vintage because when I want to listen, I want to listen. And I don't want to have to play around with it. It's like a vintage car. You just got to accept that you're going to have issues. A lot of Chinese DAC amps with balanced inputs do not have truly balanced. That's true. Purely balanced headphone amps. Balanced connection is only for convenience. Yeah. Yeah. Marantz is better for movies as they are warm. Yeah, I like the Marantz-ish take on sound. I think it's gotten a lot more neutral, but yeah, I do like Marantz receivers, even brand new receivers, really because they sound pretty good for music too. Yeah. All right, let's go to the Brookline Hero. Look what Emotiva does this year with 3 new line of 2023 differential offerings. Yep. I actually have the RMC 1L in my living room right now. And a set of their mono blocks that are differential. Now, I think with differential, you're starting to get to like that's a different animal than just truly balanced because you are stopping and starting the movement of the driver with differential. And I know that's been around for a while, but that is like I cannot wait because I also have their CD player. So I can go truly differential source preamp, processor, and then amplification. So I'm really looking forward to giving that a pretty heavy duty test drive. All right. Did we get any? There we go. Super chat, $5. Just so you like me. Edward Laganza, I'd like you if you didn't give me any money. I do like I've seen you in here before, my friend, with your Godzilla. Yeah. Godzilla. I've refurbished a bunch of vintage amps and receivers, but it's thought to let them go afterwards, especially maybe tough. It's tough to let them go afterwards, especially my Marantz 2220B, fantastic combo with Pendragons, old and new, making great sound. They're great. Like I said, I have a bunch of vintage stuff, but none of it has been flawless. None of it has been perfect. I watch most of your stuff and don't think I've heard you talk about AirPods, OG Pro and Max. Do you have any experience with them, and what's your opinion on their sound quality? I do have a little bit of experience. My daughter has the latest earbud, the Pros. She has those. My wife had the previous generation, not the Pros, but the regular ones. I thought those were terrible. Early in the channel, I was in Mexico. We were on our 10-year anniversary, and I did like 3 or 4 videos poolside, and they're all earbuds or earbud reviews. I actually did one on the beach, and it's kind of a fun video if you go look back at it on the air. On the ones that were available 2 years ago, they were terrible, absolutely terrible. I mean, muffled, bassy, veiled. The only thing about they've gotten better, but they're very convenient, and they're not meant for us. They're not meant for like audiophiles. I think they've subsequently gotten better and better and better because it's easy to make good sounding stuff now. But they don't care about the audiophile. They care about everybody else because, truth be told, we're a very small subsector of the market. So they're making stuff for the masses. With all that said, I think it's gotten better over time. ABX Audiophile, what up? If you're not subscribed to him, run on over to his channel. Happy Saturday, Cam. I'm so excited to see you all at Expona. I am too. It's coming up quickly. Cheers, Randy, and can't wait to hang out with y'all. What are you most excited to hear or do at Expona? First time ever. Expona for me is all about meeting everybody. Not about meeting the manufacturers. It's about meeting and like the community members. Like I love hanging out with y'all and getting to spend time hearing stories. The gear is cool. I like to go see the gear. I love the headphone area, and I don't do a ton of headphone videos, but I love the headphone area. But for me, it's like the camaraderie that I really love. And I think Emotiva is going to be there this year. SVS, I love those guys, and I love going in and it's probably a terrible thing to say. I love going into these super high end rooms and just like listening to it and then just like crapping all over it in the video because it's good. Sometimes it's not even good. Sometimes it's super harsh, digitally sounding, just absurd. I love going in there and just being like, and I'm not going to lie about anything. So I'm not going to go in there and be like, I'm going to purposefully say that this isn't good, even when it's good. But I love going into rooms and being like, meh, it's okay. I wouldn't even buy it though. So a lot of this stuff that's like $40,000, even if it was the same price as some of the more affordable stuff, I don't think it sounds as natural as a lot of the more affordable stuff. I still wouldn't buy it, even if it was the same price, which I love. So the people and crapping on high-end audio, those are the two things I love and I'm most looking forward to at Expona. All right. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Got me back into audio over the last few months, although I'm testing my wife's patience with all the gear I'm grabbing when I find a deal. Yeah. It's great if you can share it with her. I know one of my best friends, and he's a patron. He and his wife both really enjoy listening. And I think it's a lot easier to get, I'm not saying approval. I think it's a lot easier to get not sideways glances from your significant other when you both enjoy it. That is not my case. So my wife really doesn't care. Frankly, she's listening to the TV speakers in the room, and I used to have a very nice setup, but it seemed like the complexity factor, and I'm not blaming her because it was a pain for me too with HDMI issues. The complexity factor was just too much. So even last night, I was watching some TV in bed, and I'm like, I need to hook up a soundbar here real quick just so it doesn't sound as terrible. But I was tired. I didn't want to take the time. So I listen to the TV speakers too, but it hurts my heart. But yeah, if you both enjoy it, then it's a lot easier to make more purchases. Woody Woodman, $5. Thank you. I'm wanting to upgrade my video game mix amp with a decent desktop amp for gaming, music, and movies using IEMs. Which Geshelli would you recommend? Any of them. I think they're coming out with a new one. I think they all are good. I don't necessarily think you need the balanced one. I think they're single-ended ones, the Irish. And then they have 3 DACs. I like the J2 AKM. I like all the J2s, but the J2 AKM is my current favorite. So, yeah. Go to Geshelli.com. They're still back ordered on most stuff, but they are catching up. I just talked to them the other day. So this is the one that I use a lot. the Archel 2.5. And there's low gain, high gain settings. So, you know, I think it'd be just fine for, or I know it'll be just fine for IEMs. If you want to save a little money, you can get the little guy right here. It's not a huge savings, but you save some money. So yeah, love Geshelli, love the people, love their products. I mean, it would be hard to like promote them as much as I do if their products weren't great, but they are great. And it's just awesome that they're awesome people too. All right, did I miss anything else? Ed G, 428 in and only 1 like. Come on. I don't know how many likes we have. But if we have 424 people watching, please like the video. Always take it back. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. It's almost amazing to me how many subscribers I lose during live streams. Which means people, I don't know. It's like I gain subscribers on just about every piece of content I put out there. Almost always on live streams, I lose subscribers. I guess people don't like me live. Anyway. Randy, your mic is upside down. Well, the good thing is that it doesn't sound like it's upside down. Yeah, I think you can put mics in whatever way you want to put them. But yeah, I guess I could take it and switch it. I've used different stands before, so this is the first like fancy stand that I've ever gotten, and I just put it this way. So, good thing is though that I don't sound like I'm coming from the ceiling. Ooh, I'm getting hungry. My tummy just growled. Why wouldn't you subscribe to Randy? Funny thing is, like, subscribe. Like, it's so funny with YouTube. Like, the awards are all based on subscriber count, but that can almost kind of be gamed. And you could have 1 million subscribers and not have a lot of people watch your channel. I always found that interesting. And like, there's YouTube Shorts now, and there are people that have like reposted other people's content to get subscribers. And so there's people that have gone from like almost, no subscribers to having 100,000 plus subscribers. And then you go look at their content and like their regular content, what's called long forms, on anything, longer than like 5 minutes or even anything longer than a minute, gets like 500 views. But yet they have 100,000 subscribers and they're getting these, and it almost cheapens the award to me. So it is what it is. I mean, people had to subscribe to them, but subscriber count is a weird thing. Like, you can tell how popular a channel is you can go to like socialblade.com and you can type in whatever channel you want. Really, you can tell how popular a channel is by looking at how many views they get. But even YouTube Shorts isn't really differentiated in there, but it's easy to see how popular a channel is. Just type in the channel, go to there, and then look at their last 5 long form videos and see how many views they got on their long form videos. But yeah. Maybe it's your deodorant. I have a funny story about deodorant. So I order stuff on Walmart Plus because I don't like going to the store. And you can just pop in there, place an order, free delivery if you're on a Walmart Plus, which incidentally, you also get 10 cents off a gallon of gas and you get a free subscription to Paramount Plus. So it's actually worth it. Anyway, this is not a plug for Walmart Plus. Anyway, I order a 2-pack of antiperspirant deodorant. And they will make substitutions, and they substituted just regular deodorant. I was furious because regular deodorant has a shelf life for about 12 hours, whereas antiperspirant, anyway, I'm very upset, and I'm too lazy, or I forget every time I'm at the store to like get antiperspirant. So yeah, I see 193 likes. Let's get the like ratio up. People are waiting for you. Happy dance. Your mic is out of phase, dude. Your words are not coming out backwards like Twin Peaks. That was a cool show, man. That was a cool time on TV when they can make interesting shows like that. Randy, do you have the new Geshelli J2 socketed version? No, I do not, but I've heard it's absolutely spectacular. Yeah, LTT got hammered. I watched that. I love that channel. I haven't watched his content for a while, but I saw that his channel got attacked, which is like my biggest fear. What were you doing before YouTube? Love your content. Thank you. I was a business development guy in instrumentation and automation, and I worked in the oil and gas. I had worked in industrial before, so PLCs, SCADA systems, just like automation. I mean, think of it like the kind of the simplest form of automation is a thermostat. So you have an input, which is temperature, and then once you have a set point, so once it gets to a certain temperature, then it clicks on or clicks off your furnace or your AC. In very simplistic terms, that's automation. So I did that, but a much more complicated scale. So that's digital. So there's digital and analog as far as automation. Digital is on or off. Analog is basically you scale the voltage change to specific. Like you can do 0 to 5 volts. You can do 4 to 20 milliamps. You can do all sorts of things. But basically, that's that you can like slowly open a valve or slowly close a valve depending upon the input. So that's analog. Probably didn't want to know about that. Anyway, I wasn't. I'm not gonna say I wasn't good at it, but I wasn't like the smartest guy about it. I mean, I had a fun career. I did the Navy, and then I got out and worked in sales and business development. But I tell you what, this is a heck of a lot funner than doing that. Familiar with Automation Direct? I'm not. Denafrap's firmware update with risk of bricking the DSP board with install. What's your take on that? That scares the crap out of me. I mean, there's a risk of like breaking anything when you do a firmware update. That's why they say like, do not unplug your PS3 while you're doing this firmware update. So, I mean, there's a risk of doing that on anything. So, but you know, if people break their stuff, that's such a sad thing. I mean, maybe they can send. I know that there's a U.S. based service center actually in the great state of Texas that does Denafrap, so maybe they can reflash it or something like that. But yeah. That's scary. But just about anything runs the risk of that. Your name Cheap Audio Man is in all the reviews for the Sony SSC. Is it? I have a hard time believing that there's 8,000 mentions of me, but yeah. You don't want antiperspirant. You were supposed to sweat. Not as much as me, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, I've always run hot, and I've always, trust me, even with the antiperspirant, it's not stopping me from sweating. It's slowing things down a bit. I run hot. So yeah. Walmart sells gas. Wait, what? Yeah, they have like little mini convenience stores with gas pumps. Actually, Murphy Oil, I think, used to be like have a contract with Walmart. So a lot of our Walmarts have little gas stations out front. So yeah. Yeah. I have my cell going into a Dragonfly Black and into my receiver, and the volume is really low. Should be that way. Well, check the volume on your phone and make sure it's turned up all the way, because the volume from the Dragonfly Black is based on the volume, because it doesn't have a separate volume control. So you have to max out the volume on your phone. and then you're running a 3.5 into, I assume, an RCA input on there. So, yeah. And there's no guarantee that you're getting 2 volts, which is line level input for most single-ended stuff. So, yeah. Thought on KN RU6 R2R versus iFi hip DAC. Here's the thing. I really like the way the RU6 sounded, but it could not keep up with big bass hits. So it didn't have enough juice because it's fundamentally pulling power from your phone to run the amplifier section of it. Where I think, let me go back to Amazon here, where I think the hip DAC is basically has a battery, so it's powering itself. If I hip DAC to, yeah, I'm pretty sure this. All right, let me share this. So I am pretty sure that the hip DAC needs to be charged and has its own power supply. Yep. Okay. So yes, for sure. So the hip DAC is absolutely going to outpower the RU6 every time. And I'm not a huge fan of iFi as a company. I like some of their products, but I don't like the way that they act, or at least my experience with iFi was not a super positive one. But they do make good products on the affordable end. I think once you get outside of about $300 or $400 with iFi, then I don't think it's a compelling argument anymore. But nobody can argue with some of their, like the Zen line is spectacular with the exception of the Zen Stream, unless you're just using it as like a Rune endpoint. But the Zen line, I think this hip DAC stuff is really good. But if you have some harder to drive, especially like planar headphones, absolutely, iFi all day long. All day long. All right, Todd did the firmware update on my Aries 2 with no issue, and it is a significant sonic improvement. Just have to make sure you have the right firmware. Yeah. Yeah. And again, I'll reiterate, like, there's the risk of bricking anything with firmware updates. Anything. So, just got to be careful and listen to the instructions. But we probably hear about it more with audiophile products because we talk more. But I'm pretty sure there are a lot more people probably brick their PlayStations and stuff than the Aries. Maybe not from a percentage. I don't know. I don't know what the story is on it, but yeah. Yeah. We're gonna have to wrap this up in a little bit. Not because I'm not excited, but because I have to go to the bathroom. iFi Neo IDSD is pretty solid DAC amp in my book. I think I did a review on that. I think it's expensive. And I was just shocked at how expensive it was. I mean, it was good, but I don't think it was worth the price. iFi Neo ID. I know I did a review on this. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's a stream. Okay. Still is $800, man. This here. So I'll tell you my story about this. I did do a review of this, and this was earlier on the channel when I was nervous about saying anything negative if somebody sent me something. So the first one didn't even turn on. It would quickly flash, but it never actually powered up. So I sent it back. They sent me a new one. I never mentioned that in the review. I don't think I did. It's kind of like, it looks like it's well built, but the buttons were kind of shaky in there. Like, I think iFi needs to stay in its lane. I think they make great products, but as soon as it starts getting to a certain price point, I just don't think it's worth it anymore. 47 ratings on here. And I look at something like this, which is 800. And then I just did a review on this. just did a review on this. So I look at the difference between that and then this thing, which is absolutely awesome. I think it's way better. And what's the coolest part of this, and I can't believe they don't have this like on the front page. It has fake digital VU meters, which are absolutely spectacular. So I look at something like this, which is $100 less, has more features. I don't have the Neo anymore, so I can't say which one sounds better. And it's $100 cheaper, and in my opinion, way better. That's the problem I have with iFi. Again, I'm not saying it doesn't sound good. I think it sounds good. I just don't think it's a good value. Did you already cover the topping E50 on sale? I have mentioned it many, many times, but I think topping E50 at $200 is an incredible value. And I recommend that thing all the time. The Eversolo wasn't around when I bought this. I'd like the VU meters. I'm a sucker. You're not a sucker, Mike. I think people that don't like VU meters are suckers. And yes, the iFi, that's another reason why I'm like surprised it's still like $800. The iFi IDSD, because it's long in the tooth. I mean, it's an older Burr Brown chipset. Chipset does not always mean that like it's going to be better or worse or whatever, but yeah, I'm just saying this is an option out there. I'm surprised that iFi is still selling that thing at its price. I could be wrong though. People could absolutely like love it and think it's the best thing ever. But I've listened to a lot of DACs, and the iFi didn't do anything that surprised me. This product though, and I should talk about this a little bit more. I had this thing sitting here for months and I hadn't listened to it. And a lot of times that happens, like I'll get stuff in and I'll just be like, it doesn't excite me. I'm going to do the review. And then I got that and I plugged it in and I listened to it, and then the VU meters and everything. It was just so much fun. And it did sound better than the M500 Mark III from SMSL, which already sounded good. But the power supply in this thing, it has an app, has all sorts of cool stuff. I love it when I get surprised by a product that I had no expectations of, and it just really blew me away. So I was really happy when I started listening to this, and kind of felt bad that I hadn't listened to it earlier. There are two types of people in the world: those that like VU meters and monsters. Billy, I couldn't agree with you more. Just kidding. If you don't like VU meters, you're okay. You're okay. I like the Burr Brown DACs. I love Burr Brown DACs. They were the shit 10 to 15 years ago. I do love them too, and I think they sound in many cases more natural than some of the other DAC implementations of Sabre and AKM DACs. I do like Burr Brown. I just wasn't overly impressed with. I just didn't think that it was a good. I didn't think it was a good value, and they also. I mean, iFi uses Burr Brown on the Zen series, or at least they did. I don't know what they use now, and I thought they were great. But again, this is at $200, not $800. So I think iFi is a great company. Let me take that back. I think iFi makes great products under $400. I'll just put that. Duke Little Bear VUs are great. Yeah. Actually, I don't have it. I must have moved it out. I use that. I have one Little Bear switcher. All right, we're gonna have to call it. I had a great time today, and this was really well attended for not letting anybody know I was going to do this. So I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you for the kind words, comments, and I love that you joined me, and I hope you have a great weekend. So thank you so much. If you're in the market, check out those Jamo speakers. Incredible deal at $147. Absolutely incredible deal at $147. I think if you're getting into the hobby, then remember, if you're in the US, you're buying from Amazon, free returns. So great deal. Great deal. All right. I love y'all. Have a great weekend, and should be a new video up tomorrow. So tomorrow by noon Central Standard Time is when I'm shooting to have that video up. So have a great weekend. Have a great Saturday. Bye-bye. Bye. 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 Bye.